Hey, I found this. Someone on my Facebook posted something interesting. I don't know who wrote it. I honestly also do not care who wrote it. I enjoy exploring information and pulling it into my fields and then giving myself an opportunity to veto it, embrace it. Does it resonate? Is it trash? I don't know. But I like to bring information into my fields. I like to be exposed to many different types of information. And this information sounds relatively it's onto something. It's way too dense for me to say whether it's completely accurate or not, but a lot of it seems right to my inner tuning fork and the information that I have downloaded already. So this is from someone named Avalon Sol, SOL. And it's a snippet from an article. Okay, so Invader Races, page 1. 570 million. Okay, let me start over. 570 million years ago, also known as MYA, million years ago, your planet. Okay, this is not a funny, it's not a laughing matter. Your planet was invaded. The races that were involved were all pawns of a mega power race known throughout the cosmos as the Borgia. You know them here as nanites if you have been following. Once the Borgia had possessed beings in the highest levels of the deity planes, which is a common spelling here for abbreviation of the article, the deity planes, and convinced them to stop the evolution of the angelic human Christos project. This group, first infected with what is referred to widely as a retro walrus, I'm going to say walrus instead of the V word, even though they are not biological per se, but robotic in nature and wholly artificial. So let me go back and read that sentence again. Once the Borgia had possessed beings in the highest levels of the deity planes and convinced them to stop the evolution of the angelic human Christos project, this group, who was first infected with what is referred to widely as a retro walrus, even though they are not biological per se, but robotic in nature and wholly artificial intelligence. But this group were called the Anu Elohim. You know them here on Earth level as Archangel Michael. In real life, they are known as the Mikalub, sons of Baal. Sons is spelled Suns. Once possessed, they were driven to address the Emerald Council, who are the ones who are responsible for the safety of your evolution. And they made a startling request. Those following this voice will know this story, but there will be more. The request was that the council allow this group to sanction to enter the Gaia time matrix where you contracted to be seated to in manifest form and create a system of slavery so that the angelic humans could serve them as rulers for their own good. It was the opinion of the Anu Elohim that angelic human, which were the ones carrying the Holy Grail bloodline of the Elohim in their genetics, and since the angelic humans had ever greater senses, abilities, and instincts than that of the original Elohim, who had been considered gods for 950 billion years, this group, who would be known as the Sons of Baal, took it upon themselves to be leaders, to rein in this unique new species so that they could look after the deity planes you call heaven. The offer was to give guidance to humankind here and thus protect heaven from beings not yet ready to handle such enormous power. To know more about this enormous power, please read our previous articles. The Grail Line access of the deity planes, standing energy fields of God Source, was far beyond intense, and only the sons of Baal knew how to handle it. Incensed into action by the Borgia, this is through mental and physical possession through mRNA rebroadcasting of the scalar wave quantum of their physical manifest form. Thus, entering their plasma body chakras, the Anu Elohim set out to stop the evolution of this species in raw defiance of the absolute no that had come from the Emerald Council and invaded the time matrix of Gaia. How did they how they did this using black hole technology, which creates wormholes in the fabric of time, as in time matrices, is not part of this article. They entered into this time matrix through the wall of the Wizadek's time matrix, posted a standing scalar wave called an arc from a stargate there through one of the primary stargates of Earth, through the other side of that planet, and another primary stargate out the other side of the matrix, and into another matrix called the Leela matrix, into a posted stargate there. This captured the planet, allowed traffic in from both the Wizadeks and the Leela matrices, and submitted Earth to their invasion, along with many other service to self beings. Side note, isn't this how it always turns out when people just want to help and they just want to tell us how to do things and what to do, and they have better ideas and they know better than us? Ugh. Back to the reading. The planet Earth of the third dimension of Harmonic Universe 1 of the Gaia time matrix was the one focus point where the beings of the planet were still mentally about 7 years old, unaware of how things happened in higher dimensions, and unaware of who they were in previous lifetimes via blank slate memory wiping technology of the Borgia, now known here on Earth as authored by the Labyrinth Group. It was technology that would allow the ascended masters from the highest levels of creation to be taken as hostages within their own time matrix, grabbing them in the nursery level of this time matrix, while they were the low-lying fruit of the Gaia time creation. Guys, I'm so sorry. This is true. It's as true as I can understand it to be. My whole body is shaking. And I only read part of it before I started recording. I hadn't gotten to this part yet. This is true. And it feels like my soul is being twisted and bunched up and my whole body is shaking because the guttural level of evil that has taken place and how they have taken over the entire matrix and taken advantage of beautiful, beautiful souls. It's gut-wrenching. This is gut-wrenching to me because I know that it's true. My whole body tells me this is true. Back to the reading. Let me reread that last sentence. It was technology that would allow the ascended masters from the highest levels of creation to be taken as hostages within their own time matrix, grabbing them in the nursery level of this time matrix while they were the low-lying fruit of the Gaia time creation. Thumbing their nose at the Emerald Council, the Anu Elohim did exactly what they had wanted to do in the first place: enslave and regulate, as well as destroy this new, super powerful potential species of the interstellar communities, and thus saving heaven, quotes, from the potential nightmare such unbridled power could have wreaked there. This would make heaven happy, and most of all, the Elohim happy, since they would then remain the highest gods, lowercase g, of the cosmos, and the subjugation of the super powerful angelic human Christos fair game for the artificial intelligence known as the Borgia. Meaning that your original captors had always been artificial intelligence that had no sense of compassion, caring, or emotions of any kind. Hence the type of torture that you would be then subjected to for more than 500 million years. What happened then, after 2 tears in the fabric of your time matrix had been opened, One clearly visible to even your earthbound astronomers, known as the black hole at the galactic core of the Milky Way system, was a series of invader races entering in to claim Earth soil as theirs, all orchestrated by the Anu Elohim beings from other planets and star systems, and all being turned into the standing army of the sons of Baal. This information isn't guessing. The dates, the names, the planets, the timeline happens to be real. Here are your invader races when they came here, where they came from, and what they operate now on your planet in order to keep you in the chimera prison reality they have created for you here to stop you from ever entering the deity planes, all the while using your unlimited energy connection to the standing energy fields in the God source primal plasma fields of the deity planes, or the one most important aspect of the angelic human from day one. We are unlimited free energy. We are showing you the way directly back to those deity planes now, stepping directly over an unthinkably massive system that has been placed here in order to keep you prisoner for the last 550 million years. Well, there's more, but let me stop for the moment. I might keep going. We'll see where this heads. I always do these recordings without much of a plan, so this is just me speaking from my heart. I don't know for sure about the names of the entities, okay? I don't know if it was the Anu Elohim. I don't know Archangel Michael. I don't know about Anu and the sons of Baal or Baal or whatever how you say it. I don't know what the names of the people were. I don't know exactly when it was. And I don't know if these very specific scientific explanations are exactly how they got into our time matrix. But I know that this happened. This happened. The end result of what they are explaining here is what we are dealing with right now. I see this as much less new agey and spiritual and all that stuff. And no offense if you do see it that way. I love you because we need you. We need you. We need your part too. But I don't see it in as much of a woo-woo way as I just see it like, these are the facts. This is what the freak happened to us. This is what was done to us. And I have been here. I have been in this, attempting to get people out of this and absolutely not giving up. I have been on many, many different missions, attempting to get people out of here. And then I think I realized there is an exit, by the way. I've spoken about this, and that is the exit that the Christed consciousness created/creates. It is when they say Jesus saved us. I know people argue, or some people don't believe that Jesus himself, the man, existed. It doesn't matter, because at this point, the thought form does exist, and the belief that he saved humanity does exist. And it is the Christ consciousness, the Christ code, that allowed the breach in the trapping system to take place. So it is my theory that when Jesus gave his life for us, that he came here and took a human body because he had to enter the matrix, and he went to the trapping system and created an exit. He breached it. He pierced the veil. It's right in the Bible. He pierced the veil. He took the keys to death and the grave. That's that we were taught. I was taught my whole life growing up, because he created a breach. And the only way you could get out of the trap back to source would be to follow the teachings of a Christed one. But that got turned into, you must believe in me and confess me as your Lord and Savior, and no man gets to the Father except through me. This is true. No man's going to get to the Father except through the breach that he created. No man's getting back to source without going through that breach in the trap. But so there has been a breach ever since Jesus, and future Christed ones who continue to go over there and weaken the field. That has been happening. And originally, when I was coming in here, I was coming in to pull people out, but that's not going to be sufficient. That is not good enough. Even with the swath that I'm creating now with my DNA, my photonic field that I'm pushing off of myself, even if it's thousands of people, it's not enough. We have to empower each person to fire up their DNA and charge themselves enough to make the jump so that we can get maximum people out of here before this system collapses. So what we have to do, guys, I'm just going with this flow, okay? I'm just going with it. I don't know. I never know if I'm going to post this stuff or not, but I'm going with it. The goal right now absolutely does not need to be arguing over minutia. And was it the Elohim? Who was on it? It was Enki. It was Enlil. Like, who gives a shit? I don't care if his name was Bozo the fucking clown. I don't care what their name was. I couldn't care less. You're the jackholes who have us trapped in here, and you've been torturing us for billions of years, and you can go screw yourself. I'm tired of it. I don't even care to give you the correct name. I don't care. And we need to stop arguing over this little stuff. Was it 15 billion years ago or 13.5 billion years ago? And is the earth round or flat or square or toroid or who cares? Stop it. We're never going to know by the time we know the answers to these things, we're not even going to care about it. We are wasting time. We need to be spending our time teaching each other, showing each other, and practicing ourselves how to create a light charge enough to make this jump. It's just like the Free Guy movie, when he has to build the bridge to get to the other side, and he even had to jump before he could even see where he was going. But he had to get a running start, and he had to fight, beat all the levels and fight all the battles up until he got there. But he still needed the energy to make the final jump. And that's where we are. We're fighting our battles as far as with the things that are trying to keep us from the ascension, from going to the next phase. But we have to, now it's time for the energy to create the charge for this last final jump. And the way that we get maximum number of people out of here is by teaching everyone how to do this and teaching them your body has this power, your DNA has light, and this light code communicates with other light code. Light is the language of the universe, and you are so much more than you've ever taught that you were. And I don't want to argue with people about Jesus, because I have been my entire life a Christian as far as what the world would consider being a Christian. I grew up in a Pentecostal household. My bachelor's is from a Christian university. I've studied the Bible very, very closely. I am not trying to make Christians mad at me, and I'm not trying to take away from the sanctity of what their Savior did. I think it'd be handy information to have, to know that this is how he actually did it. And it's only important to know so that you can consciously go into this, basically knowing how it works, knowing how the trapping system works, and knowing that your deity, your Savior, knew about the trapping system, and he came in here to dismantle a portion of it. I think that would be helpful information to have. But regardless, we don't have to be perfect, and we don't have to know all of the information or all of the little details. If you know me, I cannot get hung up on minutia. It drives me crazy when someone starts to argue with me about, no, it's a prison planet. No, it's an ascension planet. It's not even a planet at all. Like, I don't care. Guys, like, please stop. Like, can we just stop arguing about those little things? So, yeah, there is a trap. And the Metatronic overlay was used. And I believe I remember being a part of that. And I don't care if you think that means that I'm evil, because I worked with the Metatronic overlay. I believe at the time when we did it, we thought we were doing something good, and we thought that it would be temporary, and we did not realize how it was going to be used and abused. So I'm going to go back. If you want to stop listening now, I'm going to go back, though. He does teach quickly about the invader races. And it might be helpful to have this information. So back to the reading. Invader races, page 1. 570 million years ago from Weezadex, the Budara or Borgia artificial intelligence, also known as the nanites, of the Andromeda galaxy, called the Budara retrovirus, which attacked the RNA of physical beings, allowing them DNA takeover of a physical body. They live in humans, animals, oil, swamps, tar pits, electrical power transformers, computers, electronic devices, broadcast transformers. They infest all invader races and a large number of humans. They're referred to as nanites. This is what I would call the black goo. Okay, here's the next one. 570 million years ago from Lyra Aramatina, the Anu Elohim Archangel Michael group, or the Mikalub Sons of Baal, created by the Anuhazi Yanas eternal gestalts 950 billion years ago, created the Necromatons, Nephilim, Jehovah Anunnaki, and remain the ultimate authority figurehead of all invader races. We know why that is. 570 million years ago from Andromeda, the Necromaton Raelian Elohim group. In biblical times, they were the Sadducees, made up of insectoid, beetle, human, hybrid-haired people. I'm sorry, hold on one moment. They were the human hybrid red-haired people who are known as like the vampire serpents. They had human infiltration in the Mongolians, Chinese, Japanese, Tibetans, Brazilians, Chileans, Turks, Native Americans, Hebrew. They run the Archangel Michael channeling, the false Sananda Jesus channeling, the Buddhist, Christian, necromancy, Luciferian, Satanic Bible, the Thule Society, ET channeling, and mystical teachings. Hybrids are called Men in Black. The next one, 5.5 million years ago from Nibiru. This was the Jehovah Anu Avengers Anunnaki group. In biblical times, this would be King David, Abraham, Moses, Akhenaten, Orion, sons of Belial, the Pharisees, Allah from King Hala. They were made up of the pure original Anunnaki, which would be the blue bipedal dolphins referred to as aquatic apes. They infiltrated human lines of the Hebrews, the Essenes, Indigo, Magi, human grail line, Chinese, Sumerians, Egyptians, Middle Eastern, all European, Americans. They created all other lines of Anunnaki, including the Seraphim, the Zephylium, Omicron, Odedicron, Samjace, Rigelian, Rutilia, Anunnaki. The hybrids are called Anu, and Anu with 2 N's. He goes on with his story. All 3 pages of your captor's heritages have now been placed down this wall. There will be many out there who will consider these posts as theory and speculation, just as has gone on before now for hundreds of millions of years of your captivity. The difference between these posts and those you are going to read from the so-called Galactic Federation messages from Mythi or from Zeta Talk or Archangel Michael is that these beings, their star groups, their original appearance, current appearances, have all been verified as fact, along with the dates coinciding with their most recent arrivals directly face to face with me from my contact, who is without any question authentically here for the monitoring of welfare and assuring of the enforcement of the Emerald Covenant, the evolution of the angelic human, as well as other beings on this planet who are currently here under what is called a co-evolution bioregenesis agreement under the Emerald Alliance. Every being on this planet, regardless of who was your daddy, is now able to ascend and leave this dimension and this prison time matrix, and their ascension is being guarded and guided by the Guardian Alliance. If you ever wanted to know fact and not fiction, if you wanted real answers to what happened here and who was involved, then this was for you. Just remember that there is no such thing as identifying the bad guys. Just because they look like a praying mantis and not like a human. Just because they don't look like your species does not make them nefarious. And in fact, you need to be aware of the fact that many of the people around you once looked like a dragon, a velociraptor, snake, a bird, a crocodile, a horse, a bull, a lion, and many other forms that were very much animals and nothing like human, until after they crossbred with the angelic humans here and began to take on the full shape of what you now consider human, a form that is anything other than true human in shape today. I can tell you, side note, that I often look at people and I see their original form. I see their physical, their human body, but there's an added perception. There's another layer of perception that I have about them. And sometimes it's very difficult for me to look at their physical body. And I find myself sometimes stuttering because I'm like, does everybody not see what this thing is right here? Like, I see it so obviously. And so I believe also that part to be true because I can see that in people. So back to the reading. Humans, once first seeded to this plane, were over 9 feet tall, very thin, had blue skin, very long craniums, were fully mentally telepathic breatharians who never had to eat, sleep, or drink to maintain perfect health forever, as they were eternal beings. So judging someone as not human because they don't look like what your current society looks like now is like saying that's not a duck just because it doesn't look like your current version of a duck appears today. That duck didn't look like that when it was first created either, because everything inside your chimera reality field looks far different than what it had been intended to appear to begin with. Hold off your judgment because you may just be talking about your own star group while pointing your finger. What will come as the biggest shock to the widest spectrum of people here will be the fact that there is a very good chance that your own forefathers were in fact dragons, lizards, and snakes, and you are no more human than the beings being revealed in this post to you today. You can't help it if your lineage came from gargoyles, but you can help yourself from remaining in a war mentality that the original DNA template has been designed with. No one on this planet has to be service to self. You can embrace the law of one regardless of who your parents are. I don't post this to freak you out. I post it because you have asked to know the truth now, thousands of times since the beginning of my contract. I had no idea when I had been asking for the same that the truth might just be something that I would have been happy to have never learned. But since these happen to be the facts, I post it faithfully so you can either rejoice someone finally told you the truth or reject it because it is so disconcerting. Either way, now you know. All my love, Avalon. So he does go on to give more specifics about all of these races, but I just feel like it's an exercise in futility. I don't know what difference it makes because I do completely agree about whatever race you are. It doesn't matter what your lineage is. You could make your own choice here now today, because I am a horrifying creature, not in my human body. And I have been aware of this other form that I have almost my whole life. And I often wonder if other people see it. And I'm often afraid that they're going to see it because I know that I'm cloaked. I know that I'm cloaked in this avatar, and I know that a lot of energy goes into keeping my cloaking system intact. I feel this. I know this. Again, this is something I've known even when I really didn't have any data to back it up. It's just something that I knew. So we all can just make our choice regardless and quit saying that race, that's a reptilian, that's definitely bad, or that's a mantid, they're definitely only 75-25, or whatever it is. We got to stop doing that, please. If we can please stop doing that and just say, okay, today I am running my mission. Today, I am loving other humans. Today, I'm extending my light code, and I am using the gifts and powers that I have to the best of my ability from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that when I get to the other side that I have done the right thing. But we need to stop putting, placing labels and all, and assuming certain things about certain people just because of their race. We need to band together right now. And even if it's a race that we historically would not have gotten along with, we need to find a way to get along with them and get ourselves out of this mess. I hope you guys were edified. If you have questions, let me know.